Okay, it is Monday the 9th of June 2025. I'm at Gatwick Airport and I'm just waiting for my flight to Sal in Cape Verde. Yes, this is a part of West Africa that I've never been to in my life, and as a matter of fact, I have never been to any islands in Africa. Even when I was in South Africa, I could have gone to Robben Island, but my time in Cape Town was too short. Yes, I only spent 24 hours in Cape Town, but then I told myself, well, there's like 54 countries within Africa, and a few of them are islands, like Cape Verde, Sao Tome and Principe, Madagascar, Seychelles, Mauritius, Comoros. And then of course the French still control stuff like Reunion and Mayotte. So I paid £197 for this 3-day trip to Cape Verde. I didn't want to spend a week there. And also, I was limited to going to Sal, because to go to Praia, the capital, would cost me $350 return. Now, and plus, like, I've only got like 3 days off, like, work, and funny enough, like, today, it's a month since I left for Ireland, and then in a month's time, I'll be in East Africa. So, it's a budget airline. As a matter of fact, it's EasyJet's longest ever flight, because in terms of length, like EasyJet flies all the way to Egypt. That is long, but it's longer to fly from London to Cape Verde. So I'll be there for 48 hours. Got a budget of like maybe about 100 or so quid, I guess. Don't want to tell how much money I have, but I'm paying 20 euros for a taxi to the airport and back, because the people were like, oh, don't bother getting the bus, it'd be full of like people. And they're like, okay, fly up, 20 euros for a taxi. I booked accommodation for like, it's 20 euros a night in a dorm, but that's not really African prices, that's more like European prices. But anyway, I'm going to get to my flight in about a couple of hours time and see from there. So, I have been in Cape Verde since 3 o'clock yesterday in my accommodation, basically just 4 beds. I always have to go for lower ones. I hate having upper bunk beds because it's too noisy. Someone like me has to go to the bathroom in the night, so yeah. So anyway, this is the currency they have here, the escudos. Yeah, so that's 1,000, so that's roughly 10 euros, and then this is 5 euros and 5 euros. It's like 100. No, sorry, 1 euro makes up about 100 of these. So euros are widely accepted all over the island of Cape Verde. Like, let's just say if you paid with a €5 note, you would probably get your change back in either local coins or euro cents. But I just prefer to pay my taxis and my hotels, actually hostel, with euros. Yes. Now, it cost me 20 euros for a taxi from the airport into Santa Maria. If I'd stayed a bit north, I would have just walked from the airport. But my taxi driver, lovely lady, her name's Taxi Lady, she was offering a tour of the island for about 150 euros, and I was like, fuck me. I mean, that's quite like a high cost. But that was like an all-day trip. But you don't really need to be paying for expensive taxis, because they have like vans or collectivos that the locals pay only €1.50 to get from Santa Maria to the northern part of the island. Now, I've only got 48 hours on this island. I kind of wish I was going to Praia. I don't understand why EasyJet is not flying to Praia, but they choose to fly to Sal. But I mean, you could get direct flights from Portugal to either Sal, Boa Vista, or Praia. Or from Azores and Madeira, you can get direct flights to Praia. So, this is just the balcony. I had a black cat wake me up this morning. There's always cats sitting around. As you can see in here, they've got like the apartments getting built up. This is a really nice, lovely terrace down here. It's called Surf House Hostel, and it's just walking distance to the beach. I had a lovely meal for breakfast today, but I'm having to hang 5 because I put my power bank charge over there, and then it was only like 8% when I woke up. So I'm just waiting for my phone and my power bank to charge. I'm gonna like leave in about half an hour to go sightseeing today, so I'll take my phone with me. But I'm not really too sure if I really want to take a power bank with me. I always have a need to carry with a power bank, but I kind of think this power bank, as a year old, it tends to like lose its powers. And you know, that's the trouble with power banks, is that you buy them new, and then after about a year or so ago, they don't really hold their charge much, and they don't really have much power left in them. So that's why I have to buy new ones. So this is where I'm staying for 2 nights, surf house hostel. Kind of feel like I'm getting a bit old to be staying in hostels these days as I'm nearing 40. But as long as hostels don't have like really discriminative policies against people towards 40, it doesn't really bother me, because when I was 32, I remember staying in a hostel in London, and there was a guy who was like 60 years old staying in the bed next to me, and he was from Canada, and we had a good chat for a couple of days because that was my house for a few days in London and all, during my life of living in hostels. So as you walk out Long Hostel, that's the beach right there. It's not really pretty. I was there yesterday, but it's got far less stones than Brighton, so keep that as a comparison. Well, and I mean, I'm carrying this bag with me and all. A little bag with a video camera. Yeah, so I'm just getting away from the hostel today. Gonna go up north to northern part of the island. Starts with E. Forgive me if I'm going to pronounce this wrong. Fagaris. Anyway, I was reminded by my taxi driver like 2 rules. 1, don't drink the local water because it'll make you sick. I've learned that the hard way when I was in El Salvador many years ago when I needed to take my medication. There was no like filtered water, so I should be drinking from the tap. Bad move. So whatever you do, just drink bottled water and use that to brush your teeth. And 2, there are lots of Senegalese migrants here, and they'll try to persuade you to come to their shop. Now they're just basically just tacky gift shops and all. You don't really need that type of crap. I mean, I do like my fridge magnets on my fridge back home in London, where I stick my currency notes from my recent trips. But yes, I do give my South African friend a magnet every now and then from my holidays. But I'm not really the type of person who, you know, buys souvenirs for mum and dad. If you just don't get souvenirs, you'll inspire your friends to like want to pick up the souvenirs themselves and travel there. Yes. So, nice day it is, windy. I had a really good breakfast at this cafe. As I said earlier, it was like €750. Walking through the promenade here in Santa Maria. It's all lively now. Yes, the cafe I ate today wasn't open yesterday see right behind me, school kids at school asking for the ball back. They're also asking for money. But there's this really interesting sign I want to take opportunity with. Like, look at this. It says, no photos, no money, no food, no direct donations. Help us protect the children, hand us with children staying on the streets. Basically, instead of giving to children, give to a charity organization. Yeah, looking through these shops. Like how they got all the flags for the world. Look, you even got Caribbean as well, and African. But they didn't do a good job. That could either be Australia or New Zealand. Either way around, but it doesn't take an effort to paint like four red stars for New Zealand or 6 stars for Australia. But I'll do a quick thing. Been there, haven't been in Jamaica, been there, but that could also be Liberia. Been there, that should be square. Been there, Can't understand what flag it is. Maybe it's a piss take of England. Been there. Haven't been in Nigeria, but again the e-visa done soon. Been in Austria, Brazil, Holland, South Africa, Italy, Norway, France, and Germany. Yeah, I went to have pizza yesterday on focaccia bread for about €5 with a Coke. Seemed a bit, you know, I think I pretty much was paying for European prices in Africa and all. But as I said before, if I'm in Africa, I want to stick to African foods, okay? I don't need my English breakfast and all. So my next ambition is to get on a bus that will get me north. The locals will be like, oh, you got to take a taxi and all because you're foreign. I'm like, no, I don't need to take taxis and all. I should be taking the local mode of transport that the locals do. That only costs me €8.50. Seems like this place could be really lively in the evening. And anyway, we found a church. Yes, it's the only church I've seen so far. Here in Sal. But another funny thing is, look, a Polish flag. I'm pretty sure it's just selling vodka and all. It's more like Russian, Slavic. But yeah, a church right there. So I haven't seen a mosque, and I'm sure there's no synagogues, I believe. But yeah, there's no chabad for any of us Jewish folks in Cape Verde. So you need anything kosher, my advice, bring it into you. They have really colourful murals here all over Cape Verde. This guy was persuading that I should pay him €5 to take a photograph in the shop. I'm like, mate, you can't make money out of that. And look, I'll even give you a, it's like it's sponsored by TUI. Give you a little bit of a tip, don't fly here on TUI, it's much cheaper if you fly here on EasyJet. So in the van, cost me €120. This will take me to the north of the island. And the van goes when it's full. No fixed schedule. I've arrived in the northern part of Sal. It only cost me €120 to get here. Now, I don't really have much of an idea about like what is the big attractions, but I guess beautiful murals, great coffee shops. I don't think there's any really iconic landmarks right here. In the south west of the island of Sal, there's a sand dune. I heard one time this South African cabin attendant on an airline, he was stopping off in Sal, and he got stuck in the sand dunes for a couple of hours. He had to get like like airlifted to New York to get treatment. So yeah, it's quite an interesting story of Sal. So your cafe says bom dia, that means good morning in Portuguese. That's one of the first few words I learned in Portuguese. But don't know what that big thing up there is. It kind of looks like a water cooling station, and then they got like, what do I say, electric towers, radio towers, yeah. So when you're in Cape Verde, use these vans, don't use the taxis and all. The one thing I love about Cape Verde is this mural after mural after mural. Now, despite some bit of vandalism and all, I say they put so much great effort. I wonder if the artists are actually local, or maybe they're sourced out from Portugal. Oh my god, just check out that one. Yeah, the restaurant, all of it. Oh my god, look at that dolphin there. Mate, if you want to attract customers, you got to put in a lot of effort and decor. Man, that is so Instagrammable. Yeah, look at that. There's it. Go. Wandering the streets of Espargos in the northern part of Sal. Sure, there has to be something to do with Portugal, like Portuguese colonial buildings, but it's mostly just beaches and sand dunes. Probably about 25 degrees right now. Streets look pretty deserted today. You see that? I mean, it is a Tuesday and all, but it's a weekend. So I'm going to be doing a whole loop around the northern part of Sal, and then I'll head back home to Santa Maria. Tomorrow I have to fly out at, what, 2 o'clock. I really don't want to pay another 20 euros in taxi, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lie to the taxi lady saying I'm only going to stay for another few days, don't need your service, and then I'm just going to take a a Euro 20 bus to get myself to the airport. But it doesn't really go directly into the airport, it basically just drops to the side of the road. Because I asked in the Facebook group for Cape Verde, they say, is there any public buses that go from the airport? And they're like, don't bother, just pay for a bloody taxi, they probably won't take all of your luggage. And I'm like, I just have like one bag, I'm a smart traveler, I don't carry that much with me. So I kind of wish I was going to Praia, because if I went to Praia, the capital, I'm pretty sure there'd be parliaments, there'd be Portuguese style buildings, definitely, of course, there'll be Portuguese restaurants and all, but it just seems like when I go to a odd city in the country, it tends to like view me like a negative view. Like I went to Daman earlier this year in Saudi Arabia from Bahrain, and that was dull. I went to Sharm el Sheikh 2 years ago in Egypt for 3 days just to mark off Egypt, and that was crap. I should have gone to Cairo instead. And then I've gone to Sal in Cape Verde, and I'm kind of giving this place maybe like a 6 out of 10 right now. I would have had to pay a bit more money to get to Praia via Azores or Lisbon. But I'm finding Cape Verde, which is a good thing. It's my 117th nation. It's my first African island nation after 21 African nations visited in the mainland, and which also means I've only got like Angola, Sao Tome, and Mozambique to visit in my Lusophone Nation Challenge. So we see here these locals, they're driving tourists around in a pickup van just to get around the island. They're probably charging 30 euros for that trip, and I'm not going to pay for that. I'm just going to pay 120 euros to get in one of those vans to get across the island. Keep tripping on these silly little pavements over here. I've been walking the streets and I find the flag of Sal Tome and Principe and Cape Verde. Now, I could have gone to Sal Tome last year when I was in Ghana, but I opted for a weekend. But maybe on my 40th birthday I can go to Sal Tome and Principe via Luanda, Angola. Driving back into Santa Maria. These vans are a bargain, €1.20. Amazing.